Namaskar. I am Dr. Rajan Shelatkar, consultant physician. I am practicing as a physician at Pinnacle Ortho Center. So today's topic is dengue fever, its causes and management. जैसे आपको सबको पता है कि डेंगू फीवर एक वेरी कॉमन बीमारी है. इट इज़ द मेजर वर्ल्ड हेल्थ प्रॉब्लम एंड it affects almost 5 to 10 to 40 crore people every year worldwide. Okay, so it is a quite a major public health problem at present, and it is there for almost 15 to 16 years existing since last 15 to 16 years. Now, what is the cause of dengue? The dengue is caused by the flavivirus, okay, dengue virus, and it is transmitted by the mosquito Aedes aegypti. So it is commonly transmitted by the mosquito bite, so as all of you are aware. Now, what is the significance of dengue? Dengue significance is mainly because it can cause sometimes critical illness in many patients. Now, what are the types of dengue viruses? There are 4 serotypes: DEN 1, DEN 2, DEN 3 and DEN 4. And there has been a 5th variety, DEN 5, which was found in Malaysia, but it is not very common. Mainly, so majority of cases, especially in India, they are caused by these 4 types of strains of dengue virus. Now, why do you want to know about these strains of dengue virus? Mainly because the first infection, what we call is the primary infection of dengue virus, is mainly very mild and asymptomatic. But when repeated infection occurs due to different strain, at that time infection gets severe. So that is why once you get a dengue with it, suppose DEN 1, then you will get a lifelong immunity for DEN 1. But if you get infected by DEN 3, DEN 2 or DEN 4, the chances of getting severe infections are very high. So any patient who gets a severe infection, you are damn sure that it is mainly because it is mainly secondary infection. So he was already infected by dengue virus. Maybe it was asymptomatic, so he never came to know. Many times we doctors also, if the fever is for 1 or 2 days, we just don't go for test. So it could be dengue, which was very mild dengue, which happens mainly now. This COVID, everybody is aware that in 80 to 90% cases the COVID infection is asymptomatic or it is very mild. The same thing happens with the dengue. And like one more similarity with the COVID is that it is the RNA virus. Both are RNA viruses, single-stranded RNA. So dengue is also RNA virus, and this one COVID-19 virus is also dengue. It is also RNA virus. But only thing is size is little bigger than this dengue virus. Only now we have got 4 strains. So we are living with this dengue virus for almost now 15 to 16 years. The same thing I think will happen with COVID, that we will have to live with this virus because it will keep on mutating and it will have a different strains. Now, what are the types of dengue? There are 3 types of dengue which we classify: type A, type B and type C. And how these classifications have been made? They have been made according to the symptoms and signs of the dengue fever. So type A is a mild infection, type B is a critical infection, and type C is the recovery phase. Now type A, that is a febrile period also we call, is last mainly from 1 to 3 days, while type B is a critical phase which lasts for 2 days, so mainly 4th and 5th day, and remaining 5 days are of the recovery phase, provided the patient doesn't get bad in that critical phase. Now, what is the incubation period of dengue? Incubation period of dengue is between 3 to 14 days and average is 7 days. So mainly if you get a mosquito bite, so immediately you will not get the dengue symptoms. They will occur mainly average by 7 days. So by the time you get the dengue infection, symptoms of dengue infection, you already have a virus in your body for 7 days. It can be between 3 to 14 days. So first, what is the characteristics of the symptoms of dengue? They are like you get a high grade fever, okay, which may last up to 1 to 3 days, and it is associated with severe headache, body ache, retroorbital pain, which all of you are aware of. Okay, so this is the first stage or stage A. Then stage B is from day 4 to 5. So there patient gets critical if he has to get critical. Many times their patients, most of the patients don't go to the critical phase, they directly go to the recovery phase. So after 5 days, if patient survives the critical phase, patient will go to the recovery phase, and that lasts for generally 5 days. But it is not a hard and fast rule that it will last for 5 days. It can go up to 2 weeks also, sometimes 3 weeks, depending on the how patient's body responds to the dengue infection. Now, what are the criteria for admission? Okay, so this is very important that all of you should know. So stage A or febrile phase patient, generally they don't need admission. They can be monitored at home. Only thing you have to do is that you have to do CBC every day and monitor for the platelet and hematocrit. Now most of you are aware about platelet, everybody gets crazy about the platelets, but more than platelet, what is important is the hematocrit or packed cell volume, because that will give accurate idea, or that will actually predict whether patient is going to go into critical phase. So if the hematocrit rises by 10%, so that means patient is likely to go into the critical phase, or platelet count suddenly drops. Okay, now what is the normal platelet count? All of you know, the 1,50,000 to 4,50,000. So platelet counts, it depends on how acutely or how suddenly platelet count drops. Depending on that, many times the severity of the dengue is predicted. So if there is a slow fall in the platelet count, most of the time patient will not have a severe manifestations. Same thing about hematocrit. One know why hematocrit rises. It rises because there is the increased permeability of the vessel wall in dengue, and that's why the plasma gets leaked out into the extravascular space, and that leads to loss of fluid, and that's what leads to increase in hematocrit. And secondary to that, patient may develop hypotension and shock, and that is what happens when the patient goes into the critical phase. And hypotension and shock can further lead to multi-organ dysfunction and also DIC, which will lead to bleeding from the multiple sites. Now, most of the cases what I have seen of dengue in our country, and in my experience, hardly anybody goes into the critical phase. Most of them recover. Only if patient goes in critical phase, and if it manage patient in the time, most of the time, almost 100% I should say, patients will recover. Only if patient presents late to the doctor, when already he was in hypotension for a long time, or he had developed bleeding manifestation, only then and then only he can develop irreversible shock, and that can lead to death. So by and large, patient in the first phase, that is febrile phase of day 1 to 3, don't need admission. You monitor their CBC and all, and then you decide. Now when patient goes into the critical phase, and that patient needs an admission. Now patients which going into the critical phase, those patients can be managed at two sites. One is in the wards or in the ICU. Now which patients need to go to wards and which patient need to go to ICU? So that depends upon the warning signs. Okay, if the warning signs are like nausea, vomiting, okay, suddenly developing petechiae, or patient having tachycardia, patient develops hypotension, all these patients need to be admitted into the ward initially, provided they are hemodynamically stable. If the patient is not hemodynamically stable, then patient starts bleeding, or patients has a severe hypotension. Those patients especially have a severe metabolic acidosis. So all those patients will need to be taken to the ICU. So these are the by and large. One more thing I want to, before I forget, is that even patient in A category, if they don't have anybody to look after them at home, Okay, such patient or patients who are living alone in nursing homes or patients are living in a hostel where there is nobody to look after them. Such patients, even if they are in stage A or in febrile phase, they should get admitted for the better monitoring. Again, you should remember that fever of dengue is what we call is breakbone fever also, because of it causes lot of body ache and headache and other lot of bone pain. So it's called breakbone fever. It is also called saddle shaped fever, because what happens is that the fever rises for first 3 days, then suddenly when patient goes into the critical phase, patient can develop hypothermia, and that leads to dip in the temperature. And then if patient survives the critical phase, again he will have a sudden rise of temperature for 1 or 2 days. So it's like a saddle of the horse. Okay, so that's why it is called saddle shaped fever or biphasic fever. So this is about the symptoms and signs of dengue fever. Now, how do you manage dengue? Dengue in first stage, especially in stage 1, patient has to be treated symptomatically. No NSAIDs are to be given, only paracetamol. That is the only thing, and hydrate patient well. Okay, patient has to take a lot of fluids, and he has to himself monitor for the for the platelet count and hematocrit. If hematocrit starts rising or the platelet count start falling, or patient suddenly becomes restless, patient has nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, such patient should immediately get admitted to the hospital. Okay, and they will be managed accordingly. Now, management in the hospital depends on how severe patient's symptoms and sign are. So generally, patient has got mild nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, or patient doesn't have much hypotension and all. Only treatment what you give is crystalloids, normal saline or ringer lactate. Now, how much it is to be given? So there is a simple formula in adult patient. Generally, they need around 4,600 to 4,800 ml of fluids over 2 days. So that comes to almost 100 ml per hour. Suppose a patient needs lot of because it comes in hypotension, then that time if you are given fluid very fast, accordingly we have to adjust the remaining fluid intake. Because what happens in dengue is that after the critical phase gets over, again the whatever fluid which was extravasated into the extravascular space, that gets again reabsorbed, and patient can develop signs and symptoms of volume overload, like pulmonary edema. Patient can develop pulmonary edema, and which can lead to respiratory distress and other complications. So it is always better to manage, have a proper calculation of fluids, and then accordingly you give the fluids to the patient. Then you can give other symptomatic treatment like paracetamol and all. But what commonly people are worried about is platelet counts. Now, in our experience, I have not given platelet transfusion for years now, because slight decrease in the platelet count, or up to 10,000 we wait till we give the platelet transfusion. So platelet transfusion are not given for prophylaxis. Prophylaxis means for prevention of bleeding or prevention of other symptoms and signs of decreased platelets. So platelet transfusion are only given in two conditions. One is patient starts bleeding, or patient's platelet count goes very low, up to 4 to 5,000, and patient has some comorbid conditions. Okay, in such cases only you have to give platelet platelet transfusion. So this is about the platelets. Then what about steroids? Steroids are also commonly given, but according to me, steroids are not to be given. First thing, because they may increase the chance of secondary infection. Also, steroids can cause bleeding. Another, if patient is diabetic, you can have difficulty in managing his sugars and all. And it has been proved that steroids don't alter the course of the dengue fever. In fact, it can worsen the patient's course because of other complications which are related to steroids. What about blood transfusion? So blood transfusion especially is given if patient starts bleeding and doesn't patient's hematocrit starts falling. In such cases only you should give blood transfusion. So otherwise blood transfusion, especially packed cell volume, they don't have any role in case of the critical care. Now what about the prevention? Prevention of the dengue is very all of you are aware, but I will touch on something which is totally different, the dengue vaccine. Dengue vaccine is not available in India because it is not approved, but it is available worldwide. Name is Denguevax, and it is marketed by Sanofi. Now Denguevax is given in 3 doses at 0 months, 0, then 6 months and 12 months. So 3 doses are to be given. Now problem with Denguevax, why it has not been approved in India, is that it was found that if Denguevax is given to the patient who developed who never had a dengue, such patients, when they got the secondary infection because of any strain of the dengue virus, they develop severe infection. So it was like developing a secondary infection of dengue and then going to severe. So that's why before giving Denguevax to any patient, you have to be sure that patient has got dengue IgG antibody positive, or he has definitely documented dengue infection. That could be one of the reasons that Denguevax is not approved in India, and rightly so. So that was about the manifestations of dengue and its management. Thank you.